this is my Creality Ender 5 Plus. You see I've moved there, all this up, lead the top, all this conduit, and this is so that I can basically get the spool on the right hand side where it's easy to reach down here. Put something to the light there. Light's playing up, sorry about that. So I can see the spool. Playing up. Dual feeding. I've got a micro Swiss hot end on here, but still oozes. So this is, there's a piece of silicon baking sheet actually with some slots, well, like lines cut in, so it acts a bit like a brush. If you look at my other video down below, there's more about this. On the other video I also put a piece of like wire brush type stuff off a golf club brush that's been sawn off, and put that in. Now I've just done a test on here, just started putting a 10mm cube, and it worked perfectly the first time. Well, the first time it was a bit low, so I've had to raise it to some slots over here so that you can raise it up. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can lower it down, because on its lowest level it's a bit borderline, I think. So this is just a servo with some details here, and I'd like to give a great big thumbs up thank you for showing me how to wire this up on a big HiTec SKR 1.4 turbo board, which basically only has one servo port for the BL touch. I am still using the BL touch here, no problems there. So I'll show you this working if I can. I don't know about the angle here. Right, this is just starting to print. The nozzle's heated and the bed's heated, etc, etc. So first of all it does a home, so it knows the position. This is in my case, and this will show you that the BL touch here is working. No problems there. Or if you see this stuff on the bed, I've got some Elmer's disappearing glue stick on the bed, so that's been marked a bit. And then it's going to do auto leveling, which again in a way does a test of the BL touch here. So this is our focus. I'll pause the video a bit while it does the auto leveling routine. Try and zoom in on that nozzle if I can. You might see that there is some ooze on there. Well, it's just on the second penultimate, is it? Second last level there. Now it's doing the last one, and then it will come in, because it knows the height now. It'll move the bed down to allow for this arm to move across, and then it'll move the nozzle over, sort of thing. So there we are, moving the nozzle down, moving the bed down, moving the nozzle over. Let me zoom in if I can. Oh, I meant to get another camera on this. And it's caught that filament off there, and it is on that blue silicon baking sheet which has like lines cut in it. So that's worked ideally. I don't know if it will work ideally all the time. It takes a bit for the filament to get flown. I'm just doing a 10mm cube here with a pull focus. that works okay. I was trying to go and try and do another camera angle. What I'll do is I'll do the same print again, and I'll show you the filament on the silicon thingy first. So there it's starting to do the cube. So as you can see, the filament's been caught on the silicon thing. I was hoping I would knock on this almost like I have a little tray thing here to catch it. Just a second. Very awkward this. Well, there's the 10mm cube finished. So you asked for a skirt on this, will not focus. There's the bottom, come out alright, no problems there. I'll do the same print again, and I'll do it from a different angle, okay? There's this piece of silicon, that's just baking sheet, silicon big, you get a big sheet and cut a bit off, and I've cut like these slits in it so that it acts more like a brush. There's a servo, and it's got slots in here so that you can move it up or down a bit to adjust it for the height of the nozzle. This is fixed to the nozzle height, this does not move up or down. Even if the bed moves up and down on the Creality Ender 5 Plus, this is not affected at all. So this has to be set to the nozzle height of the gantry in a way. So I'm just, oops, my tripod is seen a lot better days. The crank handle's missing off it. So I'll come back when it's about to clean the nozzle. Before I forget, this silicon is only rated, I think it's 280 degrees centigrade, I hope. I'll put some details on here. So if you're using high temperature filaments, this is not really recommended. So up to now it's all been caught on that piece of silicon there, baking sheet sort of thing that's been cut to size and not fallen in the tray, which I hope it would have fallen in the tray. Now you still have to, well I still highly recommend that you remove the silicon. Sorry, I'm knocking stuff here, camera lights and such like. You still have to remove the silicon after it's finished, this piece of silicon off here before the next print. So you're still having to manually do stuff at the moment. Well, it's just finishing in the auto leveling, it's got that last one to do. It's very hard to get in here and get a good angle at this. So now the bed's going down, probably hear it a bit squeaky, need some, sometimes these beds, the threaded rods do tend to stick. Well, I don't see any. No, it hasn't wiped it off this time. Let me see that. Oops. Let it pull focus. Nope. So it still left some ooze on the nozzle there, I can guarantee that, that time. So it might still need this wire brush putting on this. I'll do a separate video for that if I do, I think. basically, as you did see, it did wipe off some ooze on some of the pins, but what we want is it to make sure it wipes off the ooze on all the pins. Oh, by the way, this does twitch sometimes, this servo. Mind you, I've got extremely quite long wires on cabling on this, about 2 meters long. It doesn't need to be that long, just that I have it's what I had to hand. So I don't know if it's picking up some false signals. Certainly when you turn it on, you get some power and it twitches a bit. So the first thing I do is make sure it's in a home position even before starting to print. I'll put some G code down below, and I'll show you that on this video actually. Oops. Right, that's it. So starting to do this 10mm cube again. So here is the G code. Basically I do some messages. I do a home first, as you've seen, in the auto level, and another message to clean the nozzle. I move the head, print head and the bed position to where I want. These can be adjusted, which I probably would recommend after if it's getting worn down, maybe adjust the distance a bit so that it wears down a different part. Pause for a couple of seconds. It's not really needed at the speed I'm going, but I did notice that if you go moving the heads sort of slower, that you don't need a pause, because the nozzle, the wiper arm will move too quick. Well, I just wait a couple of seconds to make sure there, and it starts moving the nozzle, moving the wiper arm. So first of all I do another start to make sure it's in the position. So you start the code with that as well to make sure it's out the way before moving the bed. Make sure that the wiper arm is out the way before you move the bed, and then it moves backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards a couple of times, and finish off in the end position. Then the print started. I'm going to put this in because I've been modifying this a bit actually. I'll show you so put that in my start G code. The only modification I've really done there is to put a comment in about the temperature of the silicon. Remember the temperature of the silicon. Right, the changes in Visual Studio. Forget about this nozzle clean there. So it does, Marlin does have a nozzle clean, and it does also have a wipe function. But what we want is, I increase the num servos to 3. We're only using 2 here. One's for the BL touch. This is the wrong code actually, I think. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Then you need, for each of the servos, you need a 300 millisecond sort of delay for the servo to move. Now I set this to 3. I think that's the default. Actually, I think the default is 1. And then you need, this file is in the LCP 178. I'll zoom in on this so you can see where it is. So that's the file you need. And down here I've added a servo basically. So servo 1 I do it on, well, pin 125 has been added. So that's basically the changes you need in those. I'll add some other codes so that it's like a test code so that you can test the height of the white. So here's a bit of a closer look, and I'm using this middle port here, 1_25. So it's that middle port there, 125. I'm using this for the power resume thing. Now I don't know if that's working properly, maybe I do have to swap these over, but you could, if you've got this port free, you could use that one, I suppose. Got mine in use. So you can see that this pin here in the middle is 1.25, but code we put 1_25. I'll just show you that again actually. So see in here, we don't put 1.25, we put P1_25 for that pin. That's a signal pin of servo. Notice that we got servo 0, which I believe is a BL touch, which acts like a servo. And now we've added this one here. We can add some more. Look at this video here, great helpful video from a very helpful YouTube user. So here are the files, the 3 green ones here in Tinkercad. This part here is to fasten on here if I think it needs, well, it needs putting up the other way, upside down basically. If I think it needs it, I might redesign this to have less of a tray as progress goes, as a thingy. I've already made this a little bit taller so that you can move it down a bit more if you need to. I think it's down. That's of the servo. This is just so I can put it in there and cut out or add a bit more to that if I needed it. Right, so there, I'll put these on thingy bears as they are now.